So we finally have a release date for Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree. And to help prepare you for this epic journey, I am going to offer you some advice to help you make the perfect build to tackle the challenge that awaits. Now, the perfect build isn't one that does the most damage as possible. Or is so well known and focused solely on optimization, you end up looking like this fuckwit.
Hello there.
No. The perfect build for the DLC, and for all of Elden Ring for that matter, is the utility value it offers while exploring the world, while also remaining consistently effective when challenging some of the greatest foes you'll ever face. But most importantly, the perfect build is actually just what works best for you at your current skill level, adheres to your preferred combat playstyle, and whatever brings you the most enjoyment and satisfaction out of experiencing this incredible game. So today I will briefly share with you the build I will be taking into the DLC, why I'll be approaching it this way, and offer some other general tips to better prepare you and to hopefully inspire you to make a build that's perfect for you. Now, the build I am using is what I call a utility build. Many dumb c***s on Reddit would likely attempt to roast these stats due to the poor optimization and lack of a singular stat commitment. However, with a utility build like this, it's not about dishing out the highest possible damage. It's about utilizing a greater range of tools that a stat spread like this offers, so you can strategically plan and overcome whatever is in your path. With this stat spread, just look at the massive range of powerful weapons that you can have at your disposal. Like the Bloody Halike, which has a unique dodging skill. The Godslayer's Great Sword. It melts any late game mobs. Or Eleonora's Pole Blade, which is pretty fucking stylish if you ask me. And one of my personal favourites, Bloodhound's Fang, which carried me through my first playthrough. So for me, having access to a range of solid weapons, like these, is more enjoyable and viable than dedicating yourself to a singular weapon-focused build. Other things to consider when making your build is incorporating some form of ranged attacks, whether it be magic, bows, or ranged ashes of war. Having something that can take enemies down from afar will undoubtedly aid you in difficult areas of the DLC. Another tip to consider is weapon damage type. There are 4 types of regular damage in Elden Ring: Strike, Slash, Standard, and Pierce, with many bosses and enemies having different defense stats for these damage types. For example, stone-like enemies are often weaker to strike damage compared to slash or standard damage. So expanding your weapon catalog to include different damage types with your build is something to keep in mind. One last tip is to have a weapon that has the Sacred Blade, Ash of War. This skill does massive damage to undead enemies and prevents them from coming back to life. The whole holy damage is unviable and shit is just another stupid, misinformed statement, spread by those who don't bother testing it out in different combat situations. As I have shown, if you incorporate more than one combat playstyle, damage type, or weapon into your build, it offers far greater opportunities to tackle each combat situation from a different angle. Which is why, for me, this is the perfect build. Other things to consider before making your way into the DLC is stocking up on rune arcs. The easiest way to obtain these is by defeating bosses in jolly co-op. Or, like in this instance, soloing them for this kind fella over here. Activating a rune arc, while equipping one of the many useful great runes of the demigods, will give you a permanent unique buff until you die. Personally, I am most excited to try out Malenia's Great Rune. Due to how late you get it in the game, it's never really been that useful. But since you will likely be able to use it before you enter the DLC, I'm excited to see how beneficial it could be during a fresh experience. Collect all the physic tiers. There are 32 tiers located across the lands between, and mixing them in your physic will activate some seriously incredible buffs that can help you during your exploration and when facing bosses. I am not a fan of buffing personally, but the utility the physic offers is unmatched. So definitely don't ignore the possibilities it can offer. And finally, don't spoil your experience. When the DLC drops, I will be avoiding all social media and refrain from looking up any guides. As someone who has ruined their experience in previous Souls titles by doing this, I highly recommend going in blind and overcoming the challenge on your own, as it is that much more rewarding and enjoyable. On a side note, I will continue to upload as I progress through the DLC though, showing my first victories against the main bosses. I just won't be engaging in the comments. Hopefully you'll stick around to check them out once you finish the DLC for yourself. And that's everything. If you've made it this far, I hope you found some of this useful and have some new ideas on making your own perfect build for the DLC. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to embarking on this adventure with you all. Until next time.